Hey, Crimson Tide fans, welcome into Week 6 of the Alabama Adapted Athletics Coaches Show. I'm Dom Taylor, and with me once again is head coach of the men's wheelchair basketball team, Coach Ford Burttram. Coach, how you doing on this Monday morning?
I'm doing good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Let's get into this show. First, before we start, of course, we want to thank Honey Stinger, as always, the sponsor of the Alabama Adapted Athletics Coaches Show. Honey Stinger is a sports nutrition brand. They use natural sweeteners in their products, and their products are going to assist our athletes for preparation, performance, and recovery this season and all of our competition to come. So thank you so much to Honey Stinger. Look for their products, the Honey Stinger Waffle Bar and the Honey Stinger Energy Chews in all retail stores. And thank you so much once again to Honey Stinger. Coach, your squad is back from Whitewater. It was a long road trip, but you came away with a 3-1 record over the weekend. Overall now 6-2 and 4-1 in conference play. The team started things off on day one, a 76-64 victory over Whitewater, and then you got the revenge victory against UTA. This was a rematch of last year's national championship matchup. There are lots of new faces for UTA, but some familiar ones. How do you think that your squad did with the anticipation of playing this UTA team that you're very familiar with, you've got a lot of history with, in a revenge setting, of course, and then just dealing with those new players that they hadn't really seen before?
I thought they played really well as a team. They came out really focused. We started the game well. We had really good energy working together, and we played to the game plan, and we played it pretty well. So I thought we did a really good job of playing as a team and playing as a whole and being supportive and making sure that we stay focused on each and every opportunity that we got to really win each possession.
Now, in terms of shooting percentage, you were 60, or the squad at least was 63% on the day, 37 for 58. In all your years of coaching basketball, is there a sweet spot that you like to be in with your teams where it's like, if we are in this percentage shooting-wise, if at the end of the game you tell me we're in a 65% shooting percentage, more than likely we put ourselves in a good position to win a game, is there a range that you like to be in? Obviously you want to be 100%, but you can't be perfect all the time, of course. So is there a certain range that you say, if we're shooting this well in this game, more than likely we've put ourselves in a good chance to win?
Usually I would say if we're above 60%, we've put ourselves in a really good opportunity to win. Usually I would say somewhere between 52 and 55, 56% means that we are in the ball game and it's a pretty close game, or that we're doing our job on the offensive end.
Now, Tim Houston, he had a great weekend, I would say, at least from my perspective, sitting where I was at the broadcast table. He had several solid games with some quality minutes. Very talented freshman. He was the leading scorer against UTA, the second leading scorer against UTA. What have you seen from him so far in his development this season? Where do you want to see him progress now that he's got one college conference tournament under his belt?
I would like to see him progress both offensively and defensively. Defensively, understanding the reads and being able to communicate them all the way through. Offensively, he just needs to – he's a big old boy, and he just doesn't realize how big he is. So he needs to be a big old boy and just take his time and finish in the paint and let things work themselves out after that.
Well, for our fans, if you're hearing a lot of screaming in the background, it sounds like some of our players are maxing out today.
Yes,
hitting some maxes, so they're getting swole, they're getting hyped for their teammates. So if you hear that, don't worry, nobody's committing a crime or anything. It's just our athletes putting in work in the background. So you're getting the live in arena audio of what's going on here in our work and preparation for this upcoming tournament at Auburn. We will get into now probably one of the lowlights of the weekend, the Illinois game. Even though you did get the win against Edinboro 68-30 earlier in the day, you played a bitter conference rival, Illinois. Things did not go the way of the Crimson Tide in the second half after a pretty decent first half. You did have the lead at the half, but Illinois came back, and Thomas Duffy really was the catalyst for Illinois. He went 4 for 9 from beyond the arc. The lead would evaporate a little bit. You had a chance at the very end to get right back in it, but turnovers were the biggest problem of the day. 19 total turnovers for the Crimson Tide. Where do you think the trouble started in this loss? Talk about just some of the miscommunications and turnovers and really where you think things went wrong in this one.
I think that it started in the pregame, right? Our pregame was a little bit quiet, and we weren't exactly on point and talking to each other like we should have been talking to each other. Maybe had already taken care of business in the Whitewater game and Texas game the day before, and part of our team is young, and we only have a few older guys, right? So maybe it was a little bit of slip of the mind, that we thought we were kind of done and on our road home already and getting ready for Thanksgiving. But, we got to come ready to play, and it just shows in the men's division that anybody can beat anybody on any given day if you don't show up and bring your A game. And hats off to Illinois for bringing their A game and making some killer shots down the path there, and Thomas Duffy for knocking down 4 threes. Good for them. Hats off to them, and congratulations. We've got to guard the three-point line better. We got to take better care of the basketball. We got to put the ball in the hole when we get those bunnies. We do that, and we'll be just fine. So I know that we see them in January, and our boys are already looking forward to that rematch.
I'm sure they will be. I'll be looking forward to that rematch as well. Has that been, all the things you just mentioned and things that could go differently for a future matchup with the Illini, has that been a focus in practice this week, and how have you seen the players respond just with one practice underway today?
Yeah, so second we practiced yesterday too.
Oh, there you go.
But
yeah,
the way in which we're going about our business is very systematic, and I like the way they've kind of turned the page, and it's not so much a focus about what we did wrong at Illinois, it's a focus about how we can get better as a group. So I think the focus is on the right thing and not, an individual game. And sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way, man. You can do everything the right way, and still you just don't shoot the ball quite the regular percentage that you do, and things just don't go your way. And so, I feel like that was probably what happened a little bit in that Illinois game. And again, hats off to them. They played well. We just got to play better, and we got to be smarter on the defensive end. So I think overall that we're headed in the right direction.
We've got a great opportunity coming up to improve your conference record with Edinboro, Missouri, and Auburn heading to Auburn as well as this Crimson Tide squad, so a lot more conference games coming up. You played Edinboro already. You got a dominating win. That game plan more than likely is going to be just keeping to the same, playing your ball, playing the Crimson Tide the way that they like to play. For Auburn, the last time you played, they take a lot of shots outside the paint. That's where they operate, a lot of long-range to mid-range shots. From a defensive standpoint, do you keep with the same plan of attack as last time? Do you try to improve it? Are there different things that you do? You just mentioned defending the three-point arc. What is that? What's that preparation going to be like for Auburn the second time that you see them?
So we definitely have to recognize they've got shooters. They've got probably 3 or 4 shooters that can really step outside the arc and knock down some shots. So we've got to be really aware as to where they are at all times, and we've got to really be constantly checking on them and making sure that we're not letting them get comfortable. And when one of them does get hot, we can't let them just, roll into easy threes. And so we've got to make that adjustment. We've got to extend our defense a little bit, which opens your defense up for bigger angles, for bigger cuts to the basket, bigger picks. And but it's just something we got to do, and we got to get better at it. And I think that we're on the right path.
Now for Missouri, is a team that you really only saw it once or twice last year. This year they'll have a couple different faces, some of the same. What are the challenges that they bring? And usually a very talented Missouri squad that you don't always see.
Well, they've got some older guys that really play well and lead that team. A young man from Canada, Team Canada, that plays really well. And so he can fill it up, so you got to make sure that you're aware of where he is. And they've got another, the Class 1 from Canada can really fill it up as well. So you got to be attention, to where they are and attention to how they're swinging the ball. And you got to box out and you got to finish possessions. And you got to make sure that you give them limited opportunities.
Coach, that's all we got for you today on the Alabama Adapted Athletics Coaches Show. I want to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and we'll see you in Auburn.
Merry Christmas. Thank y'all.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Coach. And that does it for Week 6 of the Alabama Adapted Athletics Coaches Show. Thank you as well to all the other sponsors of Alabama Adapted Athletics: Honey Stinger, Hollister, RGK, Jalapenos, Fizzy Elite, ABC Medical, Truist, WVUA, and Powerade. Our next live streams are on this upcoming weekend, live from Auburn, Alabama, available on BamaAdapted.com. Follow us on socials, Alabama Adapted, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and check back on this YouTube page for weekly editions of the Alabama Adapted Athletics Coaches Show. We'll have more in the next semester, so that will be in January the next time we will have more of these shows. And, of course, have a happy holidays and a great rest of your day wherever you're watching or listening, and Roll Tide.